So today's lecture, we are going to start with the data compression, and we are going to understand certain things in this particular lecture. That is, the main objectives of this particular lecture are that we are going to understand the definition of data compression. What is data compression? We are going to explain the importance of data compression. Then next thing we are going to study is the different techniques that we are using in compression. That means the different types of compression techniques. And those are lossless and lossy compression techniques. So we are going to understand the difference between these two particular compression techniques. So let's start with this. Now, first thing is, what is data compression, right? So when we say what is data compression, it is what it is. First thing, it is also known as source coding, right? We can say that data compression is whenever we are going to reduce the number of bits required to store a particular amount of data. That particular process is called as data compression. That means we are reducing, compression means we are reducing the size of data. That means we are reducing the number of bits which is required to store the amount of data. So we have given the specific definition, that is data compression is a reduction in the number of bits needed to represent the same amount of data. That means if we have a file of, let's say, 2 GB, and we are reducing the size of this particular, we are reducing the number of bits required for storing this particular file, then what we are going to do, we are going to use the data compression techniques. Let's say this particular file is of 2 GB, and what we are going to do, we are going to reduce the size. We are going to reduce the size of this particular file to 780 KB, let's say, right? So what is this? This particular process, with the help of which we are reducing the number of bits required to store this particular file, is what is the data compression. This particular data compression is also called as the source coding, right? Now, how do we do it? It is the process of encoding. We are going to see we are encoding or converting the data in such a way that it consumes less memory space, right? We are doing what? We are encoding or converting the data in such a way that it consumes less memory space. And the data which is compressed, that is, this is the original file, that is of 2 GB, and we are going to compress it, right? We are going to compress it by encoding it, right? And this particular resultant file is called as the compressed data. This particular resultant file is going to be called as resultant data. We'll explain it with the help of block diagram in further slides in detail, right? Now, next thing is, what is data decompression? Now we have seen what is compression. Now we will understand decompression, right? Now you can just understand that compression and decompression, these are opposites. The reverse process of getting the original data from the compressed data is called decompression. That means earlier what we were doing, we were converting the original file into the compressed data, right? And here what we are doing, we are following the reverse process of converting the, earlier what we were doing, we were using the original file and we were compressing the data, and now we are using the reverse process in which we need to get the decompressed file. We are going to get the decompressed file, and it is done with the help of an algorithm. Now here the resultant data we get is what? We get the decompressed data. Earlier we got the compressed data, and here we are going to get the decompressed data. Now let's understand in detail from here, for this particular block diagram. how it goes. See, this is the original file. Let's say this is the original file and we call it as original data. Now what we are going to do, we are going to encode it. We are going to use the process of encoding or compressing. Here this is called as the compressor, and in this compressor what we are doing, we are encoding the original data, right? So the process of encoding is taking out place here. Then this particular encoding is giving us an output. So the output for compressing is encoding. After encoding, the output we get is the compressed data. This is the output for compression. After compressing, we get the compressed data. This is the output. Now, this particular process is called as the data compression, right? This particular process is called as the data compression, and we can call it as, this is at the transmission end. We can call it as, this is as the transmission end. Okay. Now, the reverse process that is taking place, just reverse process of compression is taking place, and that is called as the decompression. So this process is called as the decompression. Okay, decompression. Now in this process, what is being done? Earlier we were using the input as the original data. Here the input was original data, but in decompression, the input is the compressed data. So here we are taking the input as the compressed data. We are using a decoding process as the decompressor. Earlier we were using the encoding process. And then we are getting an output. That particular output is called as the decompressed data. So the output we get here is decompressed data. Now, there are two possibilities. What is the possibility? The possibility is that this particular decompressed data can be exactly same as the original data, right? Because what we are doing the reverse process of compression, that is decompression. We were taking the original data, compressing, encoding it, and get the compressed data. Now here we are taking the input as compressed data, decoding it, and getting the output as decompressed data. So this particular decompressed data has the possibility that it is exactly same as the original data, right? It can be same as the original data, or it can be different from the original data, right? It can be different from the original data. So there are two possibilities. Now just remember these two possibilities, and then we will understand how we are going to understand the two types of compression techniques, right? So I hope the data compression process is clear to you all. Now we are going to understand why we need the data compression, why we need to compress the data. So in the first slide only, you can get the answer. That is, in the first slide only, I have told you what it consumes less memory space. Why it is consuming less memory space? Because we are reducing the number of bits required to represent the same amount of data. So the first thing is, it is going to reduce the size of the file, right? So it is going to reduce the file size. How it is going to reduce the file size? By reducing the number of bits required to represent the same file. Second thing, when the size of the file is reduced, you can easily say that it is going to save disk space, right? Next thing, if the size of the file is reduced, you can transfer the data at better speed, right? With the same given data rate, you can increase the transfer speed. When a particular file is transmitted from one end to another end, if the file size is quite large, it will take more time rather than if the size of the file is smaller. So it will increase the transfer speed, and it will take less amount of time in sending that particular file and storing that particular file. It also allows the real-time transfer because it takes less of the time for the file, right? So these are the certain reasons which describe that why do we need to compress the data. Now we'll see that we have different methods for compression. That means basically we can say that there are two types of compression techniques or compression methods. So we are going to study the compression techniques. What are these? First one is called as the lossless compression and the second one is called as the lossy compression. Now we are going to understand what is lossless compression and what is lossy compression. So let's see one by one. What is lossless compression? Lossless compression is what? Lossless, as the name suggests, you can understand the meaning of this particular word lossless. That means where there is no loss. And what loss we are talking about here is where there is no loss of information. No loss of information. That means when we compress original data and at the other end, when we decompress this particular data and get the original file, there is no difference between these two files. So that means there is no loss of information between the decompressed file and the original file, right? So if data have been losslessly compressed, the original data can be recovered exactly from the compressed file. So if there is no loss of information, that means the decompressed data we get is exactly the same as the original data, and we can get it from the compressed data because at the decompression process, we are taking the compressed data as the input and getting the output as the decompressed data. So here the original data is same as the decompressed data, right? Lossless compression is generally used for applications that cannot tolerate any difference between the original and reconstructed data. When I say reconstructed data, that means it is the decompressed data. The other name for reconstructed can be decompressed. So whenever there is no difference between the compressed data, decompressed data and the original data, that particular compression is called as the lossless compression. Now, if we just move to the earlier slide where I was telling you that there is difference, there is the possibility that when we get the decompressed data, it can be same as the original data or it can be different from the original data. That means decompressed data is equal to original data, exactly matches the original data. That means it is lossless compression. It is lossless compression. Why lossless? Because there is no loss. That is why we are getting the decompressed data as same the original data, right? So this is what the lossless compression is, right? So whenever there is no loss of information, what we get? We get the lossless compression. So now the question arises where we are going to use this particular lossless compression. So wherever no loss can be tolerated in the file or in the data, there we need to use the lossless compression. So we have written applications that cannot tolerate any difference between the original and the reconstructed data. There we use the lossless compression. Now, what can be the type of file which cannot tolerate any difference? That is for the text compression, right? So we can say that text compression, in text compression or text encryption, we always use lossless compression, right? Why so? Because in text, we cannot tolerate the loss of information. Here, the decompressed or reconstructed file will be same as the original file. Now, in this, let's consider two sentences. Let's take an example how the loss of information cannot be tolerated in this is, let's say we have a particular text in which it is written, do not send money. And what we get after compression is do now send. There is little difference of T and W. So this particular sentence completely makes no sense as of original text. Do not send money is meaning to have completely different meaning as of do now send money, right? So here in the text, no loss of information cannot be tolerated. So loss of information cannot be tolerated. There we use the lossless compression. Now, let's move to the second type, that is called as the lossy. It is just the opposite. That means wherever we can involve loss of information, wherever we can tolerate the loss of information in the file, there we use the lossy compression. Okay, so whenever we get the decompressed file, it is not exactly same as the original data. That means if data have been lossily compressed, the original data cannot be recovered exactly from the compressed data. It will have certain loss of information, or it will have certain loss of bits. That is why it is called as lossy compression. Now, where should we use? Which particular part can be used as the application for lossy compression? It is wherever we can tolerate the difference can be used as the lossy compression. And what can be this particular type? Let's see here. The image, the audio files, and the video files. We can use the lossy compression in this particular part or in this particular type of files. See here, you can see this particular image. Can you see any difference in this particular image? Yes, there is little difference. The clarity of this particular image is more as of this, but it does not makes any much difference. It gives the correct information which a particular person wants to give. That is, the image remains the same. Only the thing is, it is little blurred or it is little noisy. So what it is here, it is using 637 into 637 pixels, and here we have reduced this particular to 90 into 90 pixels. So what it is, we have reduced the number of bits required to store this particular file, right? So what we have done, we have decreased the resolution out here, and we are using which compression technique? We are using lossy compression. If we are using lossless compression, then there will be no difference between these two particular images. It will give you the exact image and it will not give so much of noise. So one more thing, in lossy compression, the compression is less in the file, in lossless compression, sorry. And in lossy compression, the file compression is much more compared to the lossless one, right? So now here we can see that these are the compression methods or the compression techniques which we have studied here. That is, one is called as the lossless method and other one is called as the lossy method. In this lossless method will have the example of text compression or programs, while lossy methods is going to use the compression of images, videos, audios, etc. Now, when I say that image or video is going to use the lossy method, then it is not always true that for all type of image we are going to use the lossy method, right? Wherever we want to give the high resolution images, wherever we want to give better quality images, we are not going to use the lossy methods. We will go with lossless methods so that the quality of image does not reduces to that much need. Now, lossless methods will have different type of algorithms which we are going to use for encoding. That is called as RLE. One is called as run length, Hoffman, LZ, that is Limpel-Ziv. These are the different ones which we are going to study in further lectures. And for lossy method, we use the JPEG, MPEG, MP3, etc., etc. Right? So now the last thing is, let's understand the difference between the lossy versus lossless, which is very important. to understand. And here we say that lossy is what? Lossy is a technique where image data is lost from the original file. But in lossless, without any data loss, the image is reduced size. Now, next thing is, this particular lossy is irreversible process. Why it is irreversible? Because the original image cannot be regained. We cannot regain the exact original image from the compressed file. But lossless image is reversible. Why reversible? Because we can store the original file or original data from the compressed file. Next point is, it produces reduced file size but sacrifices image quality. As I have already shown you, in lossy, we are reducing the size of the file to much lower size, to much smaller size. So what does it do? It sacrifices, or it gives the quality of image to a lower quality. But in lossless, the reduced file size will not give the quality to be lower. It will remain the same. So that is why I was telling you in the earlier slide, that is, it is not necessary that for all images we are going to use the lossy compression, right? Now, in this, image size reduction is significant. Amount 60 to 70% file size can be reduced, as it sacrifices the quality of that particular file. So we can say the size reduction is significant. We can reduce the size to 60 to 70%. But in lossless, we cannot reduce the file size to that much level. It is insignificant. It is very low. In lossy, image formats are JPG and GIF, while in lossless image formats, these are BMP, PNG, RAW, etc. And the last thing is, the lossy image will have new website. That means the process we are going to use here is, the news websites can be their e-commerce website. Mostly these are using the lossy compression, while the lossless compression is used wherever we have heavy images, transparent background, photography, etc., etc. So this is how we need to understand where we need to use the lossy compression and where we need to use the lossless compression, right? Thank you very much.